You look in the mirror in the morning and no longer recognize who is staring back at you. Not physically, emotionally. It's as if you are a ghost of your own life, performing mechanical movements without truly being present. You brush your teeth thinking about work. You drink coffee while gazing at your phone. You drive on autopilot. You work without feeling. You return home exhausted from a life you haven't even truly lived with intensity. Life is unfolding at this very moment. But where are you? Sartre said that time is alive, pulsating, offering infinite possibilities every second. Yet, you are asleep in automatic mode, letting days pass by like watching a silent film. You breathe, eat, sleep, wake up, but you're not truly living. There is a stark difference between simply being alive and truly being present in your existence. Jean-Paul Sartre knew this when he wrote about bad faith, about how we run from ourselves to avoid confronting the weight of freedom. He understood that most people choose the anesthesia of everyday life because embracing full presence means accepting full responsibility, and that hurts. It takes courage. Here, you will understand why your life is passing while you remain absent, and how Sartre can wake you from this dangerous sleep before it's too late. Tell me in the comments if you've ever felt this sense of being lost within your own life. Because what you're feeling has a name, and there is a solution. You haven't realized it yet, but you've become a hostage to your own routine. Wake up. Coffee, traffic, work, lunch, more work, traffic again, dinner, television, sleep. Tomorrow the cycle repeats, and you accept this as if it were natural, as if life is just that. A soulless repetition without questioning, without true presence. Your mistake isn't having a routine. Your mistake is becoming routine itself. You no longer control your days. Your days control you. You no longer get to choose how you feel. You simply react to external stimuli like a programmed robot. Work stresses you out. You get stressed. Traffic irritates you. You get irritated. Relationship frustrates you. You get frustrated. Where are you in this equation? Where is your conscious choice in how to respond to life? You've developed a kind of emotional anesthesia. Nothing affects you deeply anymore, neither joy nor sadness. You're always in the middle ground, always lukewarm, always safe in the mediocrity of feeling nothing intensely. It's easier that way. It doesn't hurt as much, but it also doesn't allow you to truly live. This disconnection from yourself has created something even worse. You have become an observer of your own life. You see everything happening, but you do not participate. You hear people talking, but you are not truly listening. You embrace, but you do not feel the embrace. You smile, but you do not feel joy. You cry, but you do not feel relief. You are physically present everywhere, but emotionally absent from all of it. And time keeps passing, while you wait for the right moment to truly live, to feel alive, to be present. But that moment never arrives, because you conditioned your mind to always be elsewhere. In the past, lamenting. In the future, planning. Never here, never now, never fully present. Sartre called this bad faith, and it's not what you think. Bad faith is not lying to others. It is lying to yourself. It is pretending you have no choice when in fact, you have all the choices. It is convincing yourself that your life happens to you rather than through you. It is believing you are a victim of circumstances when in reality you are the author of every response, every decision, every moment. Sartre's bad faith is the mechanism you use to escape the anguish of freedom. Because truly being free is terrifying. It means you are responsible for everything. For your happiness, your sadness, your success, your failure, your presence, your absence. There is no one to blame, no fate to follow. There is only you, your choices, and the consequences of those choices. For Sartre, existence precedes essence. This means you first exist, then decide who you will be. You were not born with a predefined role. You did not come into the world with a set script. You exist first, then choose your essence through your actions. But most people invert this. They accept an essence imposed by society, by family, by expectations, and then simply exist within those confines. That is bad faith. Consciousness, for Sartre, is condemned to freedom. You cannot not choose. Even when you decide not to decide, that is already a choice. Even when you go along with routine, that is a decision. Even when you act on autopilot, you have chosen the automatic. The difference is that when you are in bad faith, you pretend these are not choices. Pretend that this is all there is. Pretend that you cannot do anything differently. But you can. Always. Every second, every breath, every thought, you can choose to be present or absent. You can choose to feel or to anesthetize. You can choose to live or merely to exist. Sartre understood that this freedom is terrifying because it places the entire burden of life squarely on your shoulders. There is no God to resolve it, no destiny to follow. There is only you, here and now, deciding who you will be in this moment. And that is precisely why most opt for absence. It's easier to believe that life happens to you rather than to accept that life is you unfolding. It's simpler to complain about circumstances than to acknowledge that you are responsible for how you respond to them. I met a 45-year-old man who was living exactly like that. Executive, a high salary, a good house, family, everything society considers success. But he shared something that left a mark on me. Every morning I wake up and feel like I'm living someone else's life, as if I stepped into the wrong movie and now I can't get out. He described his days as if he were an actor playing a role he never wanted to take on. Waking at 6, drinking the same coffee, enduring the same traffic, talking to the same people about the same topics, solving the same problems, returning home too exhausted to feel anything for his family, dinner, television, sleep, 20 years repeating the same script. I don't know when I stopped being present in my own life, he said. I do everything, but I feel nothing. It's like I'm numb. My children have grown up and I hardly noticed. My wife has become a stranger. My job has turned into an addiction that doesn't bring me pleasure, and I've disappeared. He told me there were moments when he found himself driving without remembering how he got there, moments when people spoke to him, and he realized he wasn't truly listening, moments when he looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the exhausted man staring back. I've become a ghost of my own life. The most devastating part was the sense of lost time. I look back and can't remember a moment when I was truly present. I was always thinking about work on the weekend, thinking about the weekend at work, thinking about the future in the present. I was never where I was. This man was living in total bad faith. He had convinced himself that this was the only possible life for him, that he had no choice, that responsibilities forced him to live on autopilot, that he couldn't stop to feel because he had bills to pay, children to support, an image to maintain. He had turned his choices into obligations to avoid taking responsibility for being truly present. Absence is not an accident. It's an unconscious strategy to evade the intensity of real life. You withdraw from the present because it demands that you feel, and feeling hurts. Feeling is risky. Feeling means you are truly alive. And when you're truly alive, you can no longer pretend you're not responsible for everything. Society has taught you that productivity is more important than presence, that doing is more valuable than being, that achieving results matters more than being whole. You internalized this and built a life based on external performance instead of internal experience. You measure the worth of your days by the number of tasks completed, not by the quality of your presence within them. Your strategic mistake was outsourcing your attention. You handed over control of your awareness to your phone, to notifications, to others' urgencies, to anything that allows you not to be fully present with yourself. You addicted your mind to distraction because focusing on the now forces you to confront who you have become. You developed a fear of solitude, not physical solitude, but mental loneliness. Fear of being alone with your thoughts, your feelings, your doubts. That's why you fill every second with noise, activity, anything that keeps you from simply being present with yourself. But it is precisely in this presence that life unfolds. Your avoidance strategy created a vicious cycle. The more you distance yourself from the present, the more dissatisfied you become. The more dissatisfied you are, The more you seek escape through distraction, the more you distract yourself, the less present you become. And time continues to pass while you live on autopilot, always promising yourself that you will stop to truly live when you finish this task, solve this problem, reach that goal. But goals never end. Problems are constantly renewed. Tasks multiply. And you keep postponing the moment to be present, to be alive, to be whole. Until one day, you realize that life has passed while you were waiting for the perfect moment to live it. I met another man who went through the same crisis but chose a different path. Attorney, 38 years old, was at the peak of his career when he realized he had become a stranger to himself. The difference was that he refused to accept this as inevitable. He acknowledged that it was a choice. I was driving to work on some ordinary morning when suddenly I pulled over to the shoulder and realized I couldn't remember the last time I had truly paid attention to what I was feeling, he told me. It was as if I had become a highly efficient robot, but had completely forgotten how to be human. Instead of continuing on autopilot, he made a radical decision. He began practicing presence. Not meditation, not spirituality, just conscious awareness. During meals, he ate in silence, focusing on the flavor, texture, and temperature. During conversations, he stopped thinking about his response and truly listened to what the person was saying. It was frightening at first, he said. When you stop running away from yourself, you have to face everything you've been avoiding, the meaningless sadness, the swallowed anger, the loneliness masked by activity. But I also discovered joys I hadn't experienced in years. He completely transformed his relationship with time. Instead of living for the next appointment, he started inhabiting each moment. In traffic, he observed the city. At work, he was present during meetings rather than thinking about other things. At home, he played with his children without looking at his phone. Life hasn't changed externally, he explained. I still have the same problems, the same responsibilities, but now I am present to live through all of it, and it makes an enormous difference. It's like I've stepped out of a black and white film into a colorful one. The most remarkable aspect was how this affected his decisions. When you are present, you immediately know what you truly want and what you're doing merely out of social obligation. He changed jobs, not because the previous one was bad, but because he realized it wasn't aligned with who he truly was. He shifted some relationships. He reprioritized. Sartre was right, he concluded. We are free at every moment to choose who we want to be, but we can only make that choice when we are present enough to do so. The first thing you need to understand is that being present isn't a goal you reach once and for all. It's a choice you make every second, with each breath, with each thought. You may have been absent for years and decide to be present now, in this moment, while you're reading this. Start with silence, not external silence, but internal silence. Stop filling every second with mental noise. When you're eating, just eat. Feel the flavor, the texture, the temperature. When you're walking, just walk. Feel your feet touching the ground, the air entering your lungs, the movement of your body. Presence begins with complete acceptance of what is happening now. You don't need to like it. You don't need to think it's good. You just need to be here to experience it. If you're feeling anger, fully feel the anger. If you're feeling sadness, inhabit the sadness. If you're feeling joy, dive into the joy. Stop judging your feelings and start feeling them. Question every automatic reaction. Before grabbing your phone, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Before complaining about traffic, ask, does this complaint change anything, or does it only pull me away from the present? Before getting lost in worries about the future, ask, what can I do right now, in this moment? Practice conscious choice. Sartre knew that freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's taking responsibility for everything you do. When you are present, you realize you're choosing your reactions. You're choosing how to interpret events. You're choosing what kind of person you're going to be in this moment. If any part of this message has made you question where you've been, leave a comment with a word that sums up what you felt. And if this resonated so far, give it a like. It's your first conscious act of presence. Time won't wait for you to wake up. Life won't pause while you resolve other things. Your children will grow up, your parents will age, opportunities will pass. And if you're not present to experience this, you'll look back and see only a series of empty days where real life could have been. The choice is yours. Now, in this moment, you can keep going on autopilot or decide to be present. You can continue to be a ghost in your own life or take full control of your existence. Sartre gave you the tools. Freedom is yours. Responsibility too. You're still in time to wake up. But time does not wait. Life is happening right now, while you decide whether to remain a spectator or finally step into your own story. Sartre knew that only those who are fully in the now truly live. The rest is merely routine in disguise, a repetitive facade. The real question isn't whether you'll change your external life. It's whether you'll begin to truly be present in the life you already have. Will you stop waiting for the perfect moment to live and accept that this moment, right now, is the only one that exists? It's the only one that matters. It's the only one in which you can choose who you will become. Your childhood is gone. Your youth is passing by. Your parents are aging. Your children are growing up. And you remain absent, always busy resolving things, endlessly preparing for the future, constantly lamenting the past, always elsewhere, never here, always elsewhere, never now. There is no second chance for the moment that's slipping away right now. No replay for the conversation you're having. No pause for the embrace you're giving. Either you're present to live it, or you'll be listed among those things you let pass while distracted by other thoughts. Sartre taught us that bad faith is a choice. Presence is also a choice. Every second you choose between being here or being absent, between feeling and numbing, between truly living and merely existing, between taking responsibility for your existence or pretending it happens to you. Life is passing by. It never stops. It never waits. It never gives a second chance for the same moment. The final question that remains is, will you continue as a spectator of your own life, or will you finally take center stage in the only story that truly matters? You? Now tell me, are you still going to wait for the right moment to be present? Or have you already understood that the right moment is always now? Write this in the comments. It's your first commitment to being present with yourself. And if you want to keep receiving truths that will wake you from this dangerous slumber, subscribe to the channel. Because here, the illusion that you have infinite time can't survive. Here, you learn that life is now, or never.